That is Sinead Stay in Faith is for the transient people from Toho 10 Mountain of Faith, which is a shmup. That's from LHC Greg. And this is IndieQuest. I am one of your hosts, Josh, and I'm joined by one of my awesome co-hosts, Steve. How are you today?
Doing fantastic. Although I admit you guys did a fantastic job while I was away. Almost felt like I didn't need to come back. But, you know, to some people's delight and others' misery, I have returned. And I'm looking forward to chatting about some high-quality video game tunes today.
Awesome. And also joined by the captain himself, Captain Drachma. How's it going, Seth?
It's going good. We're recording on daylight changing day. I don't remember. I never remember if it's savings or if we're not saving anymore. It feels like not. Is that? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It gets lighter in the morning.
Yeah, that's all I know.
Yeah. So I feel like every year for the past several, I have forgotten that it was going to happen. And then I wake up and I'm like, man, it feels like it should be later. And then I look at a different clock in my house. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
but it is kind of nice. So
we got this morning. We were sitting around just eating some eggs and like toast for breakfast this morning. And I was like, it's 10 o'clock already? Because the stove said 10 o'clock and it's like, you know, right in the kitchen right by us. And I was like, there's no way it's 10. I got up at 7. There's no way it's 10.
Yep.
And then Star's like, no, it's 9. I'm like, all right, I got again. You figured like 30 something years of this, I would not get got, but here I am, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, we are like pretty notoriously bad at switching over the non-automated clocks too. So like my stove, my microwave, one of our 2 cars, like all those still have the incorrect time. And it'll probably be like a week before I remember to just push the freaking button and change it. So
Yep.
I get mini jump scares all week at the beginning of November every time.
Yeah, it's like so for you right now. Yeah, for right now, you just you got back from Japan, so your time's already messed up, and then you got to go back another hour. So you know.
Exactly. But at some point, it's all just a blur, right? You're just like spinning in a whirlwind vortex of time. It doesn't matter when the sun comes up or goes down. You're just sleepy randomly and awake randomly.
Yeah, we're all stuck in a Sharknado. We just a side tangent. We watched all the Sharknado movies for Halloween, like every single one of them, and they're all terrible. And you think that these movies that aren't very good would get better, but they actually don't. They get worse the more you watch. Like there's like a peak, there's like a valley. So it starts in 1. You're like, all right, this is okay. You get to 2, it's like, okay, this is fine. 3, we actually both really liked the third one. It was like, okay, it was actually randomly really fun. And then it just goes down. So it's basically literally a mountaintop, you know? So, yeah.
There's like in my brain, there's like this sub-classification of media that I feel like there should only ever have been one, but for some reason there's a bunch of them. And Sharknado is one of the things in that category. Katamari Damacy is also another one where I'm like, it feels like there should only be one Katamari Damacy game, but somehow there's like 12.
Yeah.
It's like somehow one of the longest running franchises ever. Same with Sharknado. Like that should have been like a one-off joke that came and went, but like the world has blessed us with almost double-digit sequels. What is happening?
There's like a new Katamari Damacy that just came out like 2 weeks ago, I think, or something.
Yeah. They just keep happening. Every couple of years you just get one.
I've heard very good things about the new one, which is cool.
Same. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, Steve, it's nice to have you back. How was your trip? That's the question. You don't have to tell us a whole entire story if you don't want to, but how was your trip in general?
The whole story would take too long, but it was fantastic, boys. It was so good. We moved around a pretty good amount. So I was in Japan. I spent some time in Kyoto. We spent a day in Osaka. Spent a good chunk of time in Tokyo, and then we spent a couple of nights in a small, more rural town called Kasama. And all of them had like their own flavor, their own vibe. But everybody the entire way was like so nice, so polite, so helpful. It was like, despite the fact that there's a big language barrier, or you'd expect there to be a big language barrier, it was like the most like stress-free, smooth trip of my life. Just like everything just clicked, you know, like all the Hotels ended up working fine. Confirmations worked great. We never got lost using public transit. It was just buttery smooth, and it was so much fun. I came back with a whole extra suitcase full of games and goodies because I just couldn't stop shopping and buying stuff.
Hell yeah.
Did you give Jimmy Hoppa a shout?
I did not track him down. I probably should have, though. Probably should have seen what he was up to while I was there. But no, we actually had a bunch of different people that we were meeting up with in Japan, oddly enough. My wife does like online English tutoring for Japanese students who want English practice with an English language speaker. And so she's had one student that she's worked with since she was in like 3rd grade, and she's now approaching graduating high school.
Wow.
And so we finally got to meet up with her and her family and like spend a day with them in Yokohama, which is really cool. And then my wife also has a friend that she knows through just like online Instagram, like fiber crafting hobby
cool.
sphere. And so we were able to meet up with her too. And so it was fun. We got like a good mix of touristy stuff, just kind of vibing, chilling in the atmosphere of the city stuff, and then like getting to meet locals and have them like show us the stuff that nobody really typically would get to go see. So had a great time. And I got to listen on the plane ride back. I got to listen to IndieQuest as a listener. What a treat. What a gift. You guys did a great job. PD did a great job.
Yeah,
PD did
awesome.
do a very good job. Yeah. Natural, just a natural. And like we've had a lot of other podcasters on the show, but I'm always impressed with each and every one of them as they come on and just like meld in. Like they're just, every guest is always so good at doing our thing, which is fun, so.
Yeah. It's just like a little heads up for anyone out there who ever may guest on IndieQuest. We do a pretty terrible job of prepping you for what's to come. We just kind of expect that you know the routine. So, so far everybody's done great. They've either picked it up or they've been listeners of the show, and we're grateful to have you.
Yeah, and I always leave out the fact that we ask what your favorite indie game of all time is, because I love catching people off guard. So if you haven't heard any of the guest episodes, you're definitely going to be off guard. I think Michelle probably hasn't. Just to be honest, she probably hadn't heard really, or if maybe a few, if any at all. She was just like, oh, I don't know. I guess Cleric Obscure. Yeah, that's the one. So,
yeah.
It was fun. It was funny coincidence, funny timing with that episode, because when I was in Japan, obviously I'm going to different like game stores, and I went to some more like retail big box stores, kind of like their Best Buy equivalent, Yodobashi cameras and stuff like that. And I was trying to look for games like in those stores where they had like PS4, PS5, and Switch. I was trying to look for games that don't have a North American release, because I had a pretty robust retro wish list of stuff I wanted across all the different systems, but I really didn't have that much prepared for PS4, PS5, Switch, other than a couple that I was trying to track down. And so I was kind of just like flipping through the shelves, and anytime I would find something that was a game I didn't recognize or a cover I didn't recognize, I'd be like, okay, let me look this one up and see, does this also have an English release that I can track down or not? Or is this Japanese exclusive? And if so, does it look like it could be playable without much Japanese knowledge, or does it have like English as an alternative language? But one of the games I picked up that I almost purchased, I ended up putting it back down because I couldn't tell if there was a North American version, was Ebe. I'd never heard of the game before.
Wow.
And I found the physical copy in Japan of Ebe, and I was like, damn, this game looks cool. I should check this one out. And I was like holding it, like I was like ready to purchase it, and then I was like, I think this maybe is going to get an English release, or it already has one. Hard to tell, but yeah, I'd never heard of the game before, and then a few days later, here I am listening to it, and here PD is bringing it. I'm like, man, that's just a weird coincidence.
She's like,
that's amazing.
You play as this little red-eyed Japanese girl, and Steve's like, oh, it's like the Leo meme where he's like pointing at the TV with the beer in his hand.
That's so true. That's right there. I know that one.
You guys playing any games right now? Oh, Steve, did you play any indie games? I mean, I'm sure you brought your Vita, right? I think that's what you said.
I brought my Vita, so did I play? No, I didn't play any indie. Actually, I didn't play that much. The only game I played on the plane was not an indie. It was World of Final Fantasy, which
nice.
My strategy for long flights is I find an RPG, and I sort of like, you lock yourself in the box with it. Like, you don't have any other choice, buddy. It's now or never. Play that RPG, because when else am I going to have huge chunks of time to make solid progress in an RPG? So that's pretty much all I played. That and some Taiko no Tatsujin. So I'm just getting back on the indie train. Hopefully you guys will have me. It's been a while since I've been playing anything indie. I gotta kick the rust off a little bit. What have you been up to?
I played Sword of the Sea a little bit today. I was talking to you guys. I've been playing. So I did the crazy thing. So I finished Act 1, or like the bad ending of Silksong, right? So I was like, all right, I'm done with this game. And then, of course, my algorithm was just completely destroyed by me looking up Silksong stuff. So I kept getting more videos of like, oh, there's this other boss, and there's this other thing, and there's this another thing that you haven't seen. Josh, go play some more Silksong. So I'm like, all right, well, it's just like everything's calling out to me. And I was like, well, I kind of want to get it on the Steam Deck. If I had it on the Steam Deck, I'd play it a lot more. So what I ended up doing is looking up on Reddit, and I was like, all right, can I transfer my Xbox save to Steam? And actually, it's a thing you can do, because you can like put it on the Play Anywhere, put it on the PC, kind of transfer it over to Steam, and then like upload that to the cloud, and then like download it onto the Steam Deck. So I did all like 10 steps to do that, got it on Steam, and like 3 days later, I played another 12 hours, and I was on Act 3. I was like, let's do this, like I just got right back into it. So now I'm like 65, 70 hours into Silksong, and I got stuck on a boss. Pain in the ass, but that's part of it when you're in the optional area where everything is like ramped up another 75% harder than the other part of the game, so that's where I'm at, and then kind of playing some stuff in between doing that right now.
That is the same energy, that story of your save, of like how you used to have to transfer Pokemon back from the old gens. It's like, okay, you can trade it from Gen 1 to Gen 2, and then you have to use the Pokemon Stadium 2 transfer to get it to Gen 3, and then you can upload it to Pokemon Home and download it into Pokemon Sun, and then wireless transfer, and that's how you can get your original Bulbasaur into Scarlet and Violet.
Even though we gave you one, you could have just used the one we gave you, but we know you want the one from 1997 or what, 1999.
Yep, it's been with you forever. So,
yeah, I figured I played the game on Steam Deck. I'm not Steam Deck, on Game Pass, and I was like, well, I haven't really give Team Cherry my money. It's only $20.
Yeah,
I'll give them my $20 because I've gotten so much enjoyment from the game. Might as well. And now I can have it on the go. And then, it's cool. It's been a good time.
One of us has to have gone really deep into Silksong, right? Like pre-Goaty, we have to have at least one of us who's like done the 80-hour thing. So I appreciate you falling on that sword, I guess, falling on that needle.
Yeah.
I also appreciate you, Josh. How does it work for your save now for both systems? Like, your save is progressed on Steam. It doesn't progress on Xbox, though, right?
Yeah, the one at Xbox is like locked in time forever. So if I wanted to go back before Act 3, before the secret ending, I feel like people were like talking around like, oh, is there an Act 3 for so long? But now everyone's like, yeah, there's an Act 3. Like, come on. It says Act 1 and Act 2. Like, we know there's an Act 3. But anyway, yeah, that one's just locked in time forever now. Unless I want to there is a way to transfer it back to Xbox.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But it won't be synced anymore with my Steam. So I feel like that's a little too... It's already messy as it is. I think I'll just leave it as it is. I'll just play it on Steam from now on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It was pretty funny whenever... you get crest in the game. I got like a later game crest, and it's like, you got your first crest, good job, you got the achievement. And I'm like, okay, yeah, all my achievements are screwed. So yeah, but I don't really care. It's actually one of those things that's really nice to like, especially when I'm just doing cleanup and I'm like, because there's like fleas you can find, like I'm hunting fleas. I don't need to be on the TV for that. I can have something playing on the TV, be on the Steam Deck, hunting fleas, so yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's the end of the year. Like, besides that, I'm just doing 2025 cleanup. So you'll probably hear a lot of us bringing 2025. Like, hey, we've been playing all these games for the rest of the year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this has already been one of our I feel like one of our most current years yet on the podcast. I feel like we've brought a really strong amount of 2025 stuff and that will only get stronger as we get closer to that sweet, sweet goatee season.
Yeah, I think that's kind of one of how it's going to end up being more and more every year. Even though we do dive back a lot, we all try to stay a little current, and games aren't slowing down. If anything, they're picking up. I feel like there's always something new almost every day at this point. Like at least a couple times a week, I'm like, oh, there's that game's coming out again. That game's coming out. Oh, that one, and it's just the pile just gets bigger, and I'm like, I can only get through so many of these, but I'm gonna try my best.
Yep. The game that I have been waiting for with bated breath, Kingdoms of the Dump, is finally coming out this month in like 2 weeks.
That's coming out this month, really?
Yes.
I forgot about that one.
Yes.
Oh, you mentioned it not too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've talked about it every time we talk about games we're excited for like the last year. And I just happened to like find it. But yeah, it comes out soon. I'm so stoked for it. Like I'm so excited. I mean, it's possible that it won't be a very good game, but I started like looking at some things that the devs are doing. Like they're on Blue Sky and they release a bunch of stuff, and it's looking pretty darn good. So I'm excited. But
yeah, it's like we got Windswept coming out. That's like the Donkey Kong Country looking game that just got randomly announced to be a December release, and I'm like, or like late November or something. It's pretty soon. It's like in the next few weeks. And then we got Mina the Hollower. That's kind of like in limbo. We don't know the date. There's like it's just too many video games, but that's a good thing, right? That's a good problem to have.
the game that and I know we're not talking about this right now. We're going to be getting to some OST stuff soon, but the game that I'm most feeling bad about not having played yet and feeling bad that I might not play. And most people would say like, oh, it's probably Hades 2 because I haven't done that yet, but it's actually Pipistrello. Like I have not.
That game looks awesome.
I know, and I think it's really good. And it's like, man, am I going to have time for that? I really should make time for that. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well,
there's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little talk at the top, but we did have a song to kind of open us here. And what we ended up doing, this was like the last OST episode. We had some like user suggested or listener suggested songs. This episode, the rest of the episode is going to be a bunch of like bangers that the listeners have brought. So why don't we just jump right into it? Who wants to read the first one from Weedo here?
I'll read it. So Weedo says, hello, indie-loving fellows. Of course, I already brought some nice picks in our own show, IndieQuest. And for anyone out there who has not heard IndieQuest, some of our friends put together like a parody show of IndieQuest, and they did an OST episode. But it is hilarious, and they go in and out of acting like us, but it is still very funny. Like sometimes they're very consistent, and then sometimes they're just themselves. But they're all very cool people. So check out IndieQuest. I don't even know how we can do that anymore. Did we put that somewhere? I don't even know where to tell people to go.
Is it on the YouTube? I should look at it.
I think it's on like Potomax's YouTube or something.
Oh, Potomax's,
if it's not on ours, maybe I should like rip it, or at least we'll at the very least we'll put a link to it so people can listen to it. It's pretty funny.
Two of them, Potomax and Scotch, were both on that, and they do their own podcast now. So that's kind of funny. Trash Station. And Weedo, of course, has his own podcast too.
New Game, Old Flame.
New Game, Old Flame. But here's some more, he says. So this first one is from Dicey Dungeons, a game that I very much regret not having played up to this point because I feel like I would get absolutely addicted to it. But this song is called Step Right Up by Chipsoul. Let's listen. All right, that was Step It Up, or Step Right Up from Chipsel, from the game Dicey Dungeons. What did you guys think of that song?
It was good.
Josh and I stared at each other like, you complimented first. All right.
It was really,
Right,
it's really
bucko?
jaunty. It's really, it gets you going for a game where you know it's like, I know I've seen gameplay of it. I haven't played it myself. Regrettably, I know it's a great game, but you know, a game where it's more like in the weeds with like building. It's a game where you make a build. I know that, where you have like dice and you make a build, and you want some good music in that. And this definitely really suits. You know, you're sitting there trying to figure out something, and you know, you're in a battle, and everything's like a little intense, and just really suits the mood and makes you feel something, makes your head bob. So you know, you're rolling some dice and your head's bobbing. I'm sure it's a good time.
Yeah, I love any Chipsel soundtrack. Ever since Super Hexagon, I've been a fan of her work, and she just continues to put out bangers. And yeah, very distinct, like, you know, got that Game Boy energy to a lot of the stuff that she does. So good track.
I like that it is a jazzy influenced song, and it's super upbeat. Like, I feel like a lot of jazzy songs are more mellow, which is fine. But I like that you can hear that sax in the background, and it's getting your toe tapping rather than just like lulling you, right? Which can happen a lot with that type of music. But yeah, really great track.
Darn right.
Yeah, and Guido does have a little description here. It says the OST of this game goes way harder than it needs to be. This game is essentially a card game, and this is one of the most chill tracks from the game, which, damn, that's a pretty upbeat song for it being the most chill song. Yeah. And he says the use of real Game Boy chiptunes is absolutely my jam. So, yeah, mine too.
That's true.
I'll bring in the next song. It's from a game we all like. I haven't beat this game, but I played a good amount of it. I enjoy it. It's from The Messenger. It's called Bamboo Boogaloo 2 from Rainbow Dragon Eyes. Let's take a listen. And Guido says for the song, so many good tracks on the Messenger soundtrack. It's hard to choose between the 8-bit and 16-bit version of this track because they're both amazing. I've chosen the 16-bit version because it's probably a bit better suited for radio, which, you know, I think he would have been fine either way, but that's a banger. What do you guys think about the Messenger soundtrack? I feel like we've had a couple of Messenger songs and then also CSR songs on here, which, you know, are very heavily related. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, that's kind of what we were saying while we were listening, is like sometimes you just listen to the Messenger soundtrack and it makes you want to listen to the CSR soundtrack, and then you're like, oh yeah, that's that song from there, and then this is how it was remixed and redone, and then Steve was talking about the CSR's DLC and how many things were also remixed. But it's like, the thing is, like, oh, for anybody out there, it's like, man, I want new songs. Where it's like, why would you ruin a good thing? Like, we've already got all this amazing music. It's okay. I can listen to it again in a different form. So yeah, I mean, incredible.
Yeah, this is Messenger is probably one of my like top 5 or so just go to soundtracks. Full stop when I'm working or wanting to just kind of chill for a little while. So I always appreciate hearing a song from it. And this one has one of those, like, it's one of those earworm melodies that even if you don't remember it specifically from this song, you're like, you know the melody after hearing it just one time. It sticks with you forever. So that's a good pick from Weedo. All right. Well, I'll take this last one then in the interest of fairness. Kind of feels like you guys set me up to take the hardest one to read, but that's okay. This next one is a game from Trash the Planet, which I'm not personally familiar with, but we'll learn about it in real time together. It's from the game Trash the Planet. It's called Detritus Ex Machina, which is a fantastic name for a song. And it's by Bryvox. So let's give this a listen. Interesting track, of which Weedo says more about the game, I guess, than the song. He says, This free itch game stuck with me for a long time because of the underlying message. I even talked about it with multiple of my non-gaming friends and on the Trash Station podcast because it's about trash-loving raccoons and it seems so fitting. This type of clicker resource management game usually bores me to death, but the story and especially the killer soundtrack got me through this great experience. And yeah, of course, shout out to our friends over on Trash Station podcast. And yeah, dude, this song ruled. This song was so good. Like, vibe squared. Very much my type of song. And I have no memory of you talking about this on Trash Station at all. I don't know if I missed that episode or just was dealing with a toddler at the time or what, but I'm definitely going to have to go back and check it out because the game itself also seems really interesting. So I appreciate you bringing it to my attention, our attention.
Yeah. It reminded me of, there's a band I like called The Midnight, and they do like very 80s, like retro, like wave sounds, like 80s vibes. You know, you're driving in your car and there's neon lights everywhere. That's all I can think of and see, just hearing just like that chugging bass, that do 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 do, you know, in the background. It just really gets you into that mood and that atmosphere. So I can hear. I don't think any game. It doesn't really matter what game it is. That soundtrack or that song playing in the background would get me into it. I think just because it just has that moody atmosphere.
I played a game called, and I think you played it too, Josh, called Sonabi, a couple years ago or last year, and a lot of the music from that game, this song reminds me of. So, which was same thing, right? Very like dystopian rundown, but like mocking that 80s type thing. So, yeah, very good song. Right away, as soon as it came on, I'm like, man, this thing's a banger. And it always impresses me when you play a free game and they just have absolutely killer soundtracks. It's like, dude, let me give you money. So very cool.
Yeah. So we did have Elite MIT is the next person. He sent in, I think, 7 or 8 songs, just kind of in a list. So what I ended up doing was I just picked the one that he mentioned in the actual email here. He says he tried to pick a selection of songs from games that are maybe lesser known, apart from Signalis. He chose that one because it's a banger. So I was like, well, we're going to listen to Turn Around from Signalis. So let's check that out first here. That was Turned Around from the Signalis OST, and that was by Cicada Sirens and A Thousand Eyes. It's right after spooky seasons. I feel like it kind of suits that. We're kind of transition. We were talking before the show, like when spooky season ends, it just ends for a lot of people. And the Christmas tree's up. We're ready for turkey, you know, like it's time. But you know, for me, spooky season's year round. But you know, I'm playing spooky stuff all the time. I'm watching horror movies, you know. So anyway, what'd you guys think?
I was perfectly creeped out by that one. It was just very... You can imagine listening to that in a dark room with a candle lit and just being ready to sit down, pull a blanket on, maybe a little pillow action to cover your eyes and watch something spooky, like you were saying, Josh.
Yeah, I feel like Elite kind of bait and switched me here because, you know, they said it was a banger. So I was like ready to get in there and start banging my head, tapping my toes. But you were referring to a qualitative banger, as in the song is top tier, not you know, it's thumping. So when it started and it was just kind of like trying to creep me out, it was like, are you standing in a save room or not, buddy? I was like, what's going on? But I like the song a lot. It was really cool. I wish I had it for my Halloween playlist, but now I do.
Yeah, nice and like eerie. That's the word I would use for it. Like kind of gives you the feels. The next one that they wrote in with, and so what I ended up doing is like I said, they sent a list, and I was like, well, let's pick like one off the top here, and let's just react to it blindly because I never heard of this game before. It's called Spook Kitchen, and that's like all one word. So it's Spook Kitchen. So basically, the description for this game, since I pulled it up, so that we kind of know what the context for the game is you run a haunted delivery restaurant in the Halloween world of Spook Kitchen. Explore the wild poltergeist forest for ingredients and serve dishes so delicious they'd wake the dead. Face quirky ghosts, customers, and win the showdown against a witch. You can play it solo or 4 players for fun and chaos. So let's listen to this song called, I think it's just called Spook Kitchen, by the Meringue Initiative and Samuel Barahona, and from the game called Spook Kitchen. Let's listen. I don't know what to think of that one. That was a little weird. No, in a good way, like respectfully weird. Like it was not what I expected looking at the art style. The art style is very cartoony, very like hand-drawn look to it. And I didn't expect to like kind of get that funky feeling to it. You know what I mean? So I liked it. It was good. It was just way more unique and a little out there than I expected. What do you guys think?
If the song from Signalis was eerie in a normal creepy way, this was eerie in like a what in the hell is going on? What is happening in game while this song is playing? That's what I want to know. And you know what? I think that's a good little taste test to this game because after listening to this, I absolutely want to check it out. So
this feels like music from like 2055. Like, like when the tastes of musicians and audiences have changed to something very different that only vaguely echoes what music is like today. This is the song that you get.
It reminds me of, and I haven't listened to a whole lot of the soundtrack from what I recall. I guess I maybe listened to a little bit if I edited that episode, but it reminds me of something you might be able to find in like Hilux or something like just weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So leave it to MYT to bring us some true off the beaten path stuff. That's what we like, you lead.
All right. On to the next one here. So we've got one from our buddy Mook, who came and was a guest on one of our episodes and brought Hotline Miami. He says, "Hey guys, I thought I would contribute a track to your OST episodes. Being a Hotline Miami fanatic, I've spent a lot of time playing other top-down shooters in hopes of finding another gem that gives me the same feeling as the first Hotline Miami playthrough. Spoiler, it doesn't exist. However, I've come across a janky clone called the Detroit After. It's like an AliExpress version inspired by the Terminator and RoboCop, but one thing it copies really well is having a banger soundtrack composed by one guy, Luca Gallardi. I recommend the entire soundtrack, but a standout song you guys should check out is Fire in the Streets. Keep up the great work. Love the show as always." Let us take a listen to Fire in the Streets from the Detroit After. All right, so that was Fire in the Streets from the Detroit After. We were doing some research on this game while we were listening, and it only has 6 Steam reviews, but holy moly, what a tune.
Yeah.
What did you guys think?
Fantastic. Man, that was so catchy. That was so good. If you had told me that that was off the actual Hotline Miami soundtrack, I think I would have believed you. All right, if it was like buried in the B-sides somewhere, that was very energetic. I really liked it.
Yeah, and I was kind of looking at some gameplay. Like, it looks like somebody made a passion project that they're like, I love Hotline Miami. I want to make this game for myself, make my own version of this. And that's pretty much what the game kind of looks like. It kind of looks like a little simpler version of that. But I will say, the music is not simpler. That movie just slapped. It was so good. Like, dang, I could listen to that in my car. I could listen to that doing chores around the house. Like, I would be jamming out. So, hell yeah, kicked ass.
No,
So good.
Thanks for pointing us towards that one, Mook. We appreciate you, buddy. Well, we're going to move on. Then we got another one here. We got our buddy Rob from Classic Gaming Podcast sent us in a couple of songs. Rob, like Mook, was a guest on the show. So go back and listen to that episode. Great guest, great guy. And we, of course, love Classic Gaming Podcast and Boxography. Says, hey, guys, like probably most of your listeners, I could send indie game songs all day. So I'll keep it to 3 for now. I hope you like them. And Rob, you can send them all day. We'll allow that. Our email, there's no limit. All right. Google gives us unlimited emails. So keep them flowing. But the first one we're going to be listening to, he says, Jessica Curry, in my opinion, is one of the great video game composers of our time. Here is I Have Begun My Ascent from the game Dear Esther. I could have picked just about any song from this game, but right now I'm feeling this one the most. And I'm really excited about this one because Rob talked up this game, of course, when he was on the show, and it's one that I have not played, and I have not really heard much discussion of the soundtrack, so we're all going to learn together as we check out I Have Begun My Ascent by Jessica Curry from Dear Esther. Let's give it a listen. Well, I gotta say, that song was kind of awesome. It reminded me of like a film score almost. It was doing one thing, and then suddenly it was switching and it was doing something else. It was relaxing me, and then it was sort of creeping me out a little bit at the same time. It seems to match the vibe that I think that game has, which is sort of like uneasy but not scary, maybe. So yeah, that was awesome. Very, very cool, and not necessarily what I was expecting to hear. So good pull. What did you guys think?
I agree. Very cool. I like a low and slow piano from time to time. I am a To the Moon fanboy, I would call myself at this point, and I love to get down with some good piano in those games, and I'll take it in any games any way I can get them. So, yeah, I very much enjoyed this one.
I really like this game. I played it when it came out, so 10 years ago probably, or whenever that was. Really enjoyed the game. I was telling you guys while we were listening, it reminds me kind of like Gone Home or something like that, where you're kind of exploring this kind of like creepy atmosphere. It's beautiful. The game's gorgeous. Like the art and the graphics are really nice. You hear like a really good narration. So imagine like a really well-spoken person, way more well-spoken than I am, telling you this very beautiful story and kind of this haunting environment, and it really just sets the tone, and I feel like the music really just adds that much more to it. Great game, awesome song, but he had another one for us from Sword and Sorcery LP. It's called The Prettiest Weed. He says, I don't know any of you remember Sword and Sorcery LP, but it was an early iOS indie game. I remember it. It was pretty good. It's He says it's a short and simple, fairly simple song, but it just hits so hard. It made me a fan of Jim Guthrie, yeah, something like that. Guthrie, Guthrie. But the song is called "The Prettiest Weed" from the Sword and Sorcery LP. Let's check it out. So that was The Prettiest Weed from the Sword and Sorcery LP, not EP. The reason why I didn't just mistake it, I'm not that stupid. The description of the YouTube video that he linked said EP, so I got it mixed up because of that.
You mixed it up in your correction too.
Did I? Oh shit! It's EP. Oh my god. It's Sunday.
Yeah,
I have to use the same brain tomorrow for work anyway. Song's amazing. It slaps. The game, I have like the very vaguest memory of this. It's from Capybara Games, which made, they still make games now. They made a Grindstone recently, the last few years. This is one of those ones that when you early podcast, I would hear people talk about this game. Like right when podcasting became like really popular and everything, it's like around 2012, 2013, something like that. And everyone's like, first doing video game podcasts, like One Up Yours or something like that. I'm sure maybe early Giant Bomb or something like that. I heard people talk about this and tried it out, but it's been so long that I just have a hazy memory of the game. But the song still slaps. It's really damn good. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And I am very familiar with this game, Rob. I'll have you know that on my 2011 Game of the Year list, this game sits exactly one place below Pokemon Black and one place above Portal 2.
Wow.
So where on the list it falls, I will not tell you, but it's been canonized as a certified banger in my mind.
Above Portal 2 is wild to me.
That's what I was thinking. Like, holy crap, that's something. I mean, just to sit. Dude, you say Pokemon Black, and I can remember, like, 2011, on paper, doesn't seem that long ago. But it is so long ago in real life, because
Yes.
I remember buying Pokemon Black freshman year of college. Like, it was so long ago. Anyway, this is, such a banger. Makes so much sense that Rob would recommend an old indie, a classic indie, one might say.
Yeah.
So, very, very good song. With that, though, we'll go on to Rob's last tune here. He says, I was pumped about Thimbleweed Park because it was kind of like Ron Gilbert's comeback game, and I'm a lifelong Monkey Island fan. The game turned out to be just okay, but the opening song is really cool. So this is Thimbleweed Opener from Thimbleweed Park. All right, that was Thimbleweed Opener from Thimbleweed Park. What did you guys think about that tune?
Western
Good stuff.
cowboys. That's what I thought of.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little twangy, I feel like I need to pull a Seth here and strap on my boots.
I'm not saying I'm biased or anything, but that might have been one of my favorites of the day. Just saying.
Show us your shins. All right. Prove what's going on.
I love, as much as I love to wear cowboy boots, I also love a good Western. And I love a good Western themed song. And we were talking a little bit. I think it was it this year? I think it was this year I played Westerado. And that is also a very good, very Western themed game. And this gave me some Westerado vibes. So love a good Western slanted theme.
Yeah, and the game is like it kind of gives like small town mystery point and click, like there's a murder going on. So I can see that being like the title card coming up as this song is playing. It really gives that feeling. So solid track. Very puts me in a time and place. Makes me feel good. So yeah,
for sure. Awesome. Well, I can take what I think is this our last one for the day, boys? Or
It is.
I think so.
we calling her? We have a song that we'll fade out to, but in terms of ones that we're gonna talk through here, we got one from friend of the show, Lil Yeezus. I assume you're a friend of the show, Lil Yeezus. I don't have any reason to think you're not. Awesome. So says, hey guys, Lil Yeezus again. We're always happy to hear from you. It says it was awesome that you played Cult of the Lamb. You did the game justice with your synopsis. If you enjoy the fishing, mini games, and video games, try out Dredge. Hey, I just did the Dredge DLC earlier this month. Lil Yeezus, you are topical, buddy. It's a spooky Cthulhu-esque fishing game. You play as a fisherman in town, and you quickly realize there's something off about the town, its people, and its fish. It's a great game to play during Halloween. Couldn't agree more. And then a little bit of a twist here. Little Jesus says, for my campfire OST, it will have to be Freya's Kiss from Northgard. So let's take a listen to this one, Freya's Kiss from Northgard. Here we go. Lil Yeezus, thank you for that track. That was, first off, quite relaxing. Second of all, I just always appreciate the opportunity to look into like a corner, a pocket of the gaming, the indie space that I don't otherwise get to look into. Like, I'm not really too deep in the strategy world, so this is a game that I completely missed, and it's cool to see, learn a little more about it, and get a little taste of it through the soundtrack. So, what'd you guys think?
I thought it was great. Relaxing, chill vibes while you're playing a game like that. I feel like that's what you need. You know what I mean? I too don't play a lot of those kinds of games, but I feel like I think back to like when I used to play Red Alert, or something like that, or other Command and Conquer, and I don't feel like they ever really have music. It's just kind of like the sounds of the game going on, right? So I can really appreciate while you're sitting and strategizing to have some nice calming music in the background. So very good.
Totally. I'm like a strategy game fan that I imagine modern strategy game fans are annoyed by, where the last ones I played were like StarCraft 2. And they're like, Steve, it's been a decade and a half. Other games have come out. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the one that I still think about. And that game had a great soundtrack, so I have no reason to believe that they wouldn't. It's just I haven't been keeping up. But now I might have to because the song's great. Yeah. Josh, what did you think?
It was really good. The game I would liken it to in comparison is that game I brought to the quest log. I think either earlier this year or last year is Kingdom 2 Crowns, where it's like, it's nice and cozy. You're kind of managing that one's 2D. This one's obviously top down, more RTS style. Northgard is, but like it's the same vibe, same energy, where you're kind of planning something out, trying to protect your city, and the art style is really great. And it's this might have put this game on my radar. I feel like this is a very underserved genre in the podcast generally, so it's nice to hear something from that. But yeah, track was awesome. I love the little unexpected little like chorus, little music, someone singing in the background. It was nice and just soothing. It's kind of like to play us out on the show, get us into the plugs here in a minute. But yeah, great track, and kind of put that game on my radar. I put it on my wish list just because I was like, that song's so damn good. So hell yeah.
Great stuff.
All right. I think that's going to do it for our show today. We are going to close on a song, which is actually another shmup song. So I think that wasn't on purpose, but that happened. But before we do that, let's do our plugs like we always do. You can find the show, IndieQuestPod@gmail.com. You can send us emails like the ones you heard on the show this entire episode. If you have other songs, we'll kind of just keep them in a bank, and we might just do an entire another episode if we get a lot of emails like we have, or we'll just mix them in an IQ OST, which we've done in the past. But it's really fun to just react blindly to songs like this. So if you have other songs like this, send this to us on our email, or any other comments or questions, IndieQuestPod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Blue Sky at IndieQuestPod. Steve, where can they find you on the internet?
I'll be on Twitch and Blue Sky as Blinkoom. Where can they find you, Seth?
I am at Captain Drachma on Blue Sky, and of course in the Polymedia Discord, best place on the internet. And if you want to get into that Discord, head on over to Patreon, search up Polymedia, jump into the first tier, and come and chat with us. Josh, where can they find you?
You can find me at Josh Leslie on Blue Sky, and also on my other podcast, The Monthly Mishap, which has an episode releasing in a couple days after this episode releases, talking about movies that we've been watching. We talked about The Substance and John Carpenter in that episode. So if you guys are interested in some horror, it's kind of like, all of our like Halloween stuff. There's a lot of horror talk in that one. So if you want to listen to some of that, check that one out. It comes out really soon. All right, so to close out the show, we have a song from Mr. Sparkle, our shmup expert, and he sent in a song from Blue Revolver Double Action. I feel like I can't talk anymore. We have barely talked in this episode, and I feel like I'm already getting tongue twisted. He says this is the last stage of Blue Revolver Double Action. That's just hard to say. Say that 5 times fast. Blue Revolver Double Action. Anyway.
Blue Revolver Double... That is hard.
Anyway, this is the last stage of Blue Revolver Double Action. Nailed it that time. And each of the tempo changes match an event in the game. Puts a fantastic indie game over the top. Thanks for listening to the show, and we catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Guys, I'm sweating after that one. God, what a way to close the show.
Yeah. Leaving me winded at the tail end.
I didn't know erections could get this hard.